All right. Well, here I am. Tell me when we start.
No.
I'm ready to share screen if you're ready. Shall I?
No, please get on the stage. What are you doing?
I can't hear you, sir. Your voice is cracking. You're using a speaker phone. I think I'm already sharing my screen.
So,
See, your voice is, I can't hear you. You'll have to speak much clearer.
Can you hear now, sir? Good morning. Can you hear now?
Are you speaking from a external source, from a speaker phone? Are you calling from your mobile and holding it to your ear?
I'm calling from a speaker, external device, a speaker.
Yeah,
So
that's why I can't. That's why there's too much of echo, ma'am. Speak very slowly. I'll try and understand what you're saying. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
So, sir, we will begin very shortly, and thereafter, our Secretary General will request you to share the screen. All right?
So shall I stop sharing screen now?
Please, sir. Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
I spoke to the Secretary General, that's Major General
Chaturvedi.
Chaturvedi. I spoke to him yesterday. He wanted a little bit on Afghanistan, so we'll do that.
So we'll definitely come to that.
We'll begin with that, and then we'll go to the screen share. There are some people waiting to get in, so you might let them in. 7 people waiting to enter.
Right. So, so we are going to have a small introduction, and then we will request you to do the needful, sir. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. A teacher is not someone solely confined to the 4 walls of the classroom. Definitely not in the prevailing situation. On the contrary, a teacher is the sum total of wisdom, experiences, kindness, discipline, and compassion. An intellectual and spiritual guide, a teacher mentors their students with the purest intention of seeing them spread their wings and take off to achieve their goals. On this special day, ladies and gentlemen, let us pay tribute to one such dynamic teacher, Dr. S. Radhakrishnan, the 2nd President of our country, by digitally lighting the lamp of knowledge. A very good morning, Honorable Ambassador Dr. Deepak Bora, Mr. and Mrs. Birla, members of the Managing Committee, all the unit heads, and my dear teachers. On behalf of the management, I take this opportunity to convey our best wishes to all the faculty members who have emerged as classroom architects, designing completely new strategies to ensure that in-depth learning takes place even during pandemic times. Let us welcome all the teachers, including those who are joining from their homes, with a huge round of applause. May I now request Major General V.N. Chaturvedi, Secretary General, Vidya Mandir Society, to give the welcome speech. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. And good morning to you, Dr. Bora, if you can hear me.
I can, sir. Thank you very much, General Saab. Thank you.
It is indeed a privilege to talk to the cream of Vidya Mandir Society teachers who are present here by dint of their effort, by dint of their merit, by dint of their performance. Not to take away the effort of all those who are watching us online, maybe 400 plus of them.
Wow.
I think we must say thank you to each one of them, because I can assure you, you have been the pillars of performance in this pandemic time. You have been pillars of performance in this pandemic time, and I think a big thank you is owed to you. Everyone, including you all, caught by surprise last year when COVID-19 struck widely. And thereafter, you have to realign your thinking. Our schools were, of course, in the mode of tablet teaching and so on and so forth, use of technology to some extent. But now I think we can proudly tell the world that we have the best online teaching faculty available in Calcutta. That is, I'm proud for each one of you. And of course, as is our tradition, we honor the achievers for quite some time now. But interestingly, you would note that the awards this year have changed. So you will not be having the run-of-the-mill awards, especially the schools. Schools awards have changed to a large extent, I should say. Or should I say totally? And I also take this opportunity to welcome in our midst Ambassador Deepak Vora.
Thank you.
So, you may not obviously know me, but I've been following him for some time. He's a resident of Delhi and an alumnus of some very prestigious institutions of the world, including St. Stephen's College, the National Defense College, Delhi, and the Sorbonne University, Paris. He commenced his career, and you will be happy to note, as a teacher, a member of the faculty of St. Stephen's College. From 1972 to 1973, he was there. That was the time when he joined the Indian Foreign Service in 1973 and continued to excel in his training at the Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration at Mussoorie. He has served as a diplomat in France, Vietnam, Tunisia, the United States, Nigeria, Cameroon, Benin, Chad, Malaysia, Papua New Guinea, and Spain. Quite a world tour, if you see, and with quite a bit of Africa thrown in between. He distinguished himself as an ambassador of India in Armenia, Georgia, Sudan, South Sudan, Poland, and Lithuania. Ambassador Vora has continued his good work for the country and our society as officer in special duty to the technology advisor to the Prime Minister of India. Yesterday when I spoke to him, he was quite hassled because the piano was pressing him very hard for something.
Forgive me.
He has also worked very closely with a very renowned NGO of India, and that is the Sulabh International. I have seen Sulabh International grow ever since its inception, and I am so proud and so touched by the work that this NGO has been doing so far. I'm sure there won't be any member in the audience which doesn't know of Sulabh International. And he also, after having done his ambassadorial tenures, being the advisor to the government of South Sudan in 2011, He was special advisor to the Prime Minister of the Republic of Guinea-Bissau in 2013. He was special advisor to the Prime Minister, Kingdom of Lesotho in 2014. And he was appointed special advisor to the Autonomous Hill Development Council of Ladakh. That's much closer home. A true-blooded patriot to the core, Dr. Deepak Bohra has also been a much-loved television figure. I don't think many of you would know that. But I can vouch for him, and I have watched him on television. So therefore, my admiration for him goes to that time. And he has also had the distinction of having acted in commercial cinema. He is an advisor and mentor to many universities and companies in India and lectures regularly to national and international audience on a global mega trends for mega convergence. And this is an aspect of which he shall be covering today. He will be getting on to global mega trends also, and the mega convergence of those trends in shaping up societies of the world for the future. He has a deep insight in Kashmir affairs and speaks regularly on the subject. And of course, I made a special request to him yesterday to get a diplomat's perspective and a patriot's perspective of Afghanistan's issue, as it may or may not affect India. Especially, everybody is worried today as to how the terrorists would function and how would they impact. I don't know, but I have had a little experience in Afghanistan. I was there for about 2 years after the fall of the Taliban in 2002. As I see it today, nothing much has changed, including the leaders. There are some who have followed the footsteps of their fathers and some have become. Mujahideen is a very interesting word in Afghanistan. The fellow who's formed the government is a Mujahideen, and the fellow who's opposing him is also a Mujahideen. You've got to align yourself to which Mujahideen you're wanting to engage or which Mujahideen you're wanting to support. So it's interesting, but it's a beautiful country and very warm people with a huge background of craft. So right from Durrani to Dostum, money has been the primary moving factor in that country. And with money in your pocket, you can achieve anything, you can do anything. The British controlled Afghanistan through money for more than 100 years. They paid huge sums to keep the Afghans in check. In fact, before they drew the Juran line, without being told, the Afghans wouldn't cross because they knew that the supply of money would stop. So these are interesting times coming up, and I feel we need not worry about anybody interfering with our affairs from there. And of course, we will have the super diplomat's perspective on this, and I'm sure each one of us will gain from it. I welcome on behalf of each one of you and Mr. S.K. Birla and Mr. Sumangal Birla, Ambassador Deepak Bohra, and request him to give us that much awaited keynote address for our today's Teachers' Day function. Thank you.
Thank you very much, General Saab. It was an honor and a pleasure to speak to you yesterday. Members of the Birla Vidya Mandir Group, teachers, sons and daughters of India, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ambassador Deepak Bohra. I'm 70 years young, but still devastatingly good looking. My wife doesn't agree. You mentioned, sir, about my acting in commercial films. That's true. I did two in 1972, and both was super flops. So I became a teacher and then joined the Foreign Service. You referred to the fact that you served in Afghanistan, General Saab, so did I. And you know as well as I do that you can rent an Afghan, you can't buy an Afghan. It's money, as you rightly said, that matters in that country. Before we go on to the PowerPoint presentation, the deck that I have on how we see our world in the next 4 years, may I make a very quick reference to Afghanistan? Would that be okay? I'm hearing some noise. Could you unmute could you mute yourselves, please, those who are talking into the thing? I'd like to do a very brief introduction to Afghanistan for those who might be interested. Can I take about 3 or 4 minutes to talk about it, General Saab? Will that be okay?
Yeah, please, sir.
Right. Well, for 1950s, 1960s, all of you are very young, but the Cold War, if you've heard of it, was at its height. The Soviet Union, United States, who were allies in the Second World War, were at each other's throats, and both got involved in Afghanistan. There was a lot of money coming from both. There was an Afghan leader whom I knew very well, said a very famous phrase, "I feel happiest when I light my American cigarette with Soviet matches." Now, this went on. 78, there was a ruthless but progressive Marxist-Leninist government. The Americans gave money to the opposition. The Marxist government began to wobble, and the Soviets came marching in 1979. The Americans said, well, buddy, you are in. Now we are going to teach you a lesson like you taught us one in Vietnam. So they started giving money to assorted characters called the Mujahideen. The Saudis also helped. Very many people have. They sent in the money through Pakistan. The war began in 1980. 1983, there used to be a character called Ronald Reagan. He welcomed Afghan freedom fighters, so-called, to the White House. And he referred to the Soviet Union as the evil empire, said it must be destroyed. Then there was a character called Muhammad Ziaul Haq, the president of Pakistan. He said, buddy, give me the money and we'll destroy them. The rest, as they say, is history. It was the world's first international jihad that was organized. The soft underbelly of the Soviets was being hit. 1985, the Soviets said, okay, guys, we are tired, we are going. The Pakistanis said, no, you're not, stay on, because if you leave, we won't get any money. So the Soviet state finally in 1989, they said, money or no money, we are going. America said, great, we've destroyed the Soviet Union, which happened in 1991. Goodbye, guys, we are leaving. And then what happens? Afghanistan descends into a brutal civil war. And the civil war starts, ladies and gentlemen, because two so-called Mujahideen fight over a young 9-year-old boy. Both want to derive pleasure from that boy. Then 1994, 1996, a bunch of thugs called the Taliban studying in Pakistani madrasas, the children of refugees who had fled the Soviet invasion. They have some military training to go on seize Kabul. They rule through terror rather than popular acceptance. And we see corpses dangling from Kabul's lampposts, beards and prayers forced onto men, women thrust into burqas, and girls' education was halted. My family, incidentally, we are refugees from Ghazni in Afghanistan. We moved from there, my grandparents, to Peshawar, then to Lahore, and finally to New Delhi. 2001, America is shocked when the Mujahideen, whom Reagan had so warmly welcomed to the White House, they develop a deadly Delta variant. And this variant, it destroys the World Trade Center in New York, et cetera, et cetera. And then the Americans say, oh yeah, now this is our antivirus. They bomb the hell out of Afghanistan. Millions of tons of cordite is dropped after 9/11. The so-called Taliban, the brave fighters, they run. They beg the Americans, please take away this Osama character. Please give us amnesty. America is drunk with power and says we don't negotiate surrender. Now they want to build a pro-American Afghanistan. 2011, they get hold of a character called Osama, son of Laden. Where do they find him? In Pakistan, not in Afghanistan. They've been fighting the wrong war. Well, all right, you've got your revenge. You've exterminated Osama, now go home. It still does not. This is something about America it's important to understand. Hit America on its mainland and they go berserk. The last time this happened was in 1941 when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor during the Second War. You know what the Americans did to the Japanese with the atom bomb. You know what the Americans have done to Afghanistan with the kind of military power, the air power that has never been seen before. The Americans were still there. 20 years later, 20 years after 9/11, with their spirit broken, their reputation in tatters, they are leaving. Why? Why have they got into bed with their enemies, the Taliban? They have removed the Afghan albatross from around their neck, and as their president says, they will now focus on their real enemies, China and Russia. First target is atheist China. The Taliban, if I know these guys and I've dealt with them, are going to make sure that they mess around in Xinjiang province of China, which, by the way, borders Afghanistan. This is home to the Muslim Uyghurs. Over 1 million of them are in camps in China. It was jihadi fervor that drove the Mujahideen against the godless Soviets, and now that same jihadi fervor will support the Uyghurs through the East Turkestan Islamic movement. So China is going to be in deep trouble. It's going to focus on its western part, which is Xinjiang. It will not mess around in the South China Sea. Please understand the game plan. Their attention will be diverted. Next comes Iran. America doesn't like them at all. So the Taliban will activate the border with Iran. And Iran, which hates the Taliban because they had slaughtered Iranian diplomats in Mazar-e-Sharif in the 90s, Iran is going to be now focused looking at its east. It'll forget about the Middle East, and Israel will be dancing the Bhangra. The third target, mind you, will be Russia, another enemy. The Taliban are going to mess around in the former Soviet Central Asian republics. The Stans, they will beg Russia to help the Stans. If Russia comes marching in to thump the Taliban, history will repeat itself. And finally, Pakistan. Pakistan has been messing around. Every American says they took advantage of us. Donald Trump went on television, went public and said, you guys are absolute liars and thugs. And so now the Taliban will unleash a regime of terror in Pakistan through the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. Will the Taliban play ball? America controls their access to the global financial system. And America is sitting on $10 billion of Afghan reserves held by the Federal Reserve. Did someone say something about money making the mayor go round? This is the game plan about what is happening in Afghanistan. Let me assure you that we are today strong enough, alert enough. We have the technology. Not one single terrorist from Afghanistan will come to us to mess around in Kashmir. If he does, we will eliminate him before he enters our borders. Please note that over the last 2 years, 2019, 2020, the number of infiltration attempts has decreased substantially ever since we regularized the status of Kashmir. They will not dare do it. The Taliban have no animosity with us. They have animosity with Russia, with China, with Pakistan, with Iran, not with us. So all these newsroom things that 8 Atangwadis are being prepared to attack India. Look, I have a 5 million strong security contingent, including the paramilitaries. 8 chaps, I'll cut them up and have them for breakfast. Please don't worry about this. Leave it to your diplomats, leave it to your military, leave it to your government. We know how to handle these guys. We've been dealing with them for a very long time. So why did we speak to them in Doha? Well, happy birthday. Why did India withdraw its diplomats? I'm being criticized because I was part of the team that decided. What if they had stayed on and one of my chaps had got killed? Then all these media channels would be saying, why didn't you leave? It's a lose-lose situation. I leave, I get abused. I don't leave, I get abused. So what can I do? What is my plan of action? We felt at that time that the Taliban had come back with these terrible fellows called Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Toiba who have attacked us before. We felt it is best to bring our people back. Right or wrong, time will tell. That is the story of Afghanistan. America is going to keep giving money to the Taliban, say, go mess up all my 4 enemies, Russia, China, Pakistan, Iran. I will sit back and applaud, and I will slowly release all your funds that are blocked. And India, we are going to continue to do what we are doing. At the moment, it's wait and watch. Does that explain to you the Afghan situation? And always remember, you can rent an Afghan. You can never buy an Afghan. Sir, you referred to the border between Afghanistan and Pakistan, the so-called Durand Line. Sir Mortimer Durand used to be Foreign Secretary of India, British India. 1893, he signed this agreement. It's a personal agreement. It's not a border. And the Taliban say, listen, guys, all the Pashtuns on your side, tell the Pakis, they are my boys, they are my fellows, they are my cousins. I want them back. So what we see happening is Pashtunistan emerging as an independent entity. So will Baluchistan, which controls access to the Arabian Sea. And in 2025, General Saab, in 2025, if I'm still alive, I will go to a library and ask for a book on Pakistan. I will be told, look in the history section. That's what we see happening in the next 4 or 5 years. Right or wrong, this is our perception. Now, if you permit, we go ahead with our presentation on what we see happening in our world. Now, you'll have to give me permission to to share my screen. How do I do that? Who's the expert on IT from your side? My chaps are not around. There has to be some way of screen sharing. Anyone there who knows how to do it? Sorry, I'm waiting for you to tell me how to screen share. I don't see the commands coming at the bottom of my screen. I did when I logged on. Shall I log out and log in again?
Sir, you will see there is a green button there on your screen, right at the bottom.
Well, at the bottom or on the top?
At the bottom with an arrow, green, and if you just bring the cursor there, you will see that, share screen is there.
I'm not, ma'am. Where is that button? On the bottom of my screen or the top?
Bottom, sir. Bottom.
Bottom, I'm seeing nothing.
Then see on the top.
It's not even on the top. Okay, let me see if sharing helps. No. Ma'am, what I'm going to do is I'm going to log out and log right back in. Is that okay? Because I'm not seeing anything just now.
Sir, you just see on the top, there will be 3 vertical dots. If you click on that also, you will get the share.
If I can find them, ma'am, that's what I'm trying to tell you. I don't see any 3 vertical dots on the top of my screen. If I could, let me log out instead of spending any more time on this, and I'll log right back in, okay?
Sir,
Right.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
If you log out, I think we have maximum. Maximum number of participants. So, well, can you just send us the PPT and we will share?
I would rather do it from my computer because it's something that is, I can't share it for various reasons. I'm not allowed to. It was part of it is meant for one of the big bosses.
So, sir, is your PPT on the slideshow mode? I mean, is it ready?
Yeah. Yes, it's on my screen. That's why I want to share my screen.
So the screen share button is there, sir, green color button.
That's what I can't find, ma'am. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Double tap on the screen.
It's not at the bottom of my screen. It should be.
Double tap on the screen. Yeah.
In fact, when I stopped sharing earlier, that's when we lost it. So now let me see, slide shorter, reading view, no. Sorry? I still can't see it, I'm sorry. I really did want to be able to share the PowerPoint with you. So what should I do? Let me log out, one of you can then log out and can log back in, is that okay?
Okay.
What would you, sorry, let me log out and log back in.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm not able to do what you are saying I should be doing. Let me see again.
Okay. So we have done the needful. You please kindly log out and log in again. Sir, can you hear me?
No, he's logged out. I think it was in the full screen. Ask him to. You ready? It was in the full screen. Ask him to escape.
Yeah,
Press the
yeah.
escape button, then it would minimize. Then probably he would be able to.
He was already sharing the.
Or sir can press Alt button also.
If escape button is pressed, then he can escape the full screen and then start presenting.
Actually, he should escape.
He had already was in the screen
Yeah,
sharing
because
mode.
exactly it was in a full screen mode. That is the reason.
Yeah, in full screen, so you can see it. He's already gone.
He's coming back.
Do we have space for him to come in?
Yeah. We created. He's logging also.
They've created. No, they've created something.
Created.
This makes it very easy.
We can permit him to log in.
Don't accept anymore.
There is waiting room. You see, there in the waiting room, this is very not waiting room. He had already shared the screen.
You have his number.
Just check.
Sir can talk to him. Sir,
I will. Has. If he was on full screen, you would have seen that the.
No, he is on full screen. Yes,
That's
he was on.
We've removed a few people, so it should be easy. Yeah. No, we've removed a few people. So, yes, please try it.
He's still not coming. We got 11 members.
There is space now. Approximately 9 Shall we send it in? I have it.
Lot of teachers have not been able to work.
We've seen it again.
Maximum capacity.
3 minutes, 4 minutes, years, summarize the whole thing.
He's seen the message. He's seen he's online also. Maybe not quite. Okay, we send that also. He has it. We sent him an email. We sent him. I'm sending that also. Hello? Hello?
He's joining.
Eureka, he says Eureka. Please, can you hold the few words? I should keep trying to do it. No, no, that's right. Eureka.
Can you hear me now? All right, I'm sharing my screen now. Thank goodness. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir, it's opening.
All right, so here we go. Let me check how I share the music with you. Hold on a second. I'm supposed to be able to do that because you may not get the music. How do I do that now? Let me see. Security. It's supposed to appear somewhere.
So go to
Hold on. Share sound. Okay, here we are. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, then give me 30 minutes and we, for the next 30 minutes, your attention. So, your great. I begin, sir?
Yes, go ahead, just please start.
Right.
Hello? Yes, sir, you can start. You can see the slides.
Yeah. Did you hear the music? Did you hear any sounds? Did you hear any sound?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine, thank you. Okay, here we go now. Now, the golden rule that the Lord Buddha talked about, he said, don't tell us. But the Mahatma had said that my faith is brightest in the midst of impenetrable darkness. To attacked us as you in April 2021. We fell, we stumbled. We regained control. The Prime Minister was busy fighting in West Bengal. All kinds of funny things happened. He took personal charge and we were back. And he also told all the chief ministers, look, let's just work together. Let's have an all-of-country approach and united efforts. Had we done that, the result would have been different. There was too much of political tribalism going on at that time. 2400 years ago, aapne uska naam suna hoga, funny character called Chanakya. He had said there can be no friendship without self-interest. So now the question, what's the self-interest of the world and of India? Sons and daughters of India, now watch this carefully. Who's going to play a vital role? आपकी जो आने वाली दुनिया अगले 4 साल में, इसमें 4 देश. I'm switching between English and Hindi. I hope you all understand Hindi.
Yes.
Do you?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Thank you. In the new world, 4 देश हैं. There's USA, which is in self-correct mode. अभी बहुत मार पड़ी है अफगानिस्तान में, so it's licking its wounds, but it'll come back. It'll bounce back. It always does. There's India, which is unstoppable. Russia, which is very, very angry. It's hurting badly. And there's China, which is cornered, which is barking. What are the 4 main things that our brave new world would be looking at? Number 1 would be healthcare. the virus, the Chinese virus, was the biggest threat to human survival, probably in 1,000 years. The second thing we are going to look at is climate stability. We'll talk about that in a moment. Third is economic development. And then we are going to be looking at management of these new technologies. Number one, health. What do you need? You need medical expertise. You need medical infrastructure. China sent its visiting card to 200 countries. The visiting card said virus. It gave an example of its power to hurt. I was in Latin America last year. We saw signs saying, people died, China lied. This is the great reputation that China has today. Second is climate change. Floods in Europe. You're seeing what's happening with Miss Ida in the United States. I mean, massive flooding. Floods in China, India, heat wave in Siberia. In Canada, on the West Coast, where temperatures at this time should be about 10, 12 degrees, it's 52. There's drought in Africa where we have floods. There's drought in Latin America. People in California have been stealing water. And last month, 2 months ago, more than 14,000 scientists declared a global climate emergency. What about the rich nations? They said climate change, we don't agree. Nothing like that, relax. It's something that will hurt you guys, not us. Now it's beginning to hurt them. So they're asking us, what were you talking about climate change? The third major thing would be development. How will we develop? You know, when the British, the Germans, the Belgians, the Spanish, the French, they went to their colonies in Africa and Asia and Latin America. They didn't go by aircraft. They didn't go in motor cars. They didn't go by railway. These things didn't exist. They went by sea. They went in ships. There was no one to stop them. The seas were open. And even if they fought, it was in the seas. Now, China has taken maximum advantage of this. And now it turns around and says, well, it was fine. They were open when I needed to develop. Now my great-grandfather's bones are buried in the Atlantic, the Pacific, the Indian Ocean. So it all belongs to me. We said, you must be joking. They said, no, we're not. We're pretty serious. I mean, we have the first ever standalone session of the UN Security Council. Our Prime Minister hosted it last month. China ranted and said, no open seas. And the 14 other member countries said, yes or no. You can veto it if you want, let the whole world know. Chinese said, oh, okay, do what you want. Because those fellows are stupid. They don't know how to behave internationally. So we have this consensus on maritime safety. What is going to drive everything in our new world? You call it artificial intelligence, Ms. Kulkarni. I call it engineered intelligence. Ms. Basu, we have a digital economy. You are using digital means of education. We have machine learning, deep learning. We have Industry 4. Have you heard about it? The first industrial revolution, 1750 or so and so, when the steam engine came, faster production. Then electricity and oil came, mass production. Then computers came, automatic production. Now we have artificial intelligence, so we have autonomous production. I was in Seattle, sat in a car sent to me by a chap whose name rhymes with Tusk. It's Musk, something like Elon Musk or whatever his name is. And we sat in one of the cars, there was no driver. I was scared, but then being an ex-soldier, I said, well, all right, we'll survive this too. What role will India play? This is the new emerging world order. The rise of power begins at home. We have sent our visiting card to many, many countries. You know what it says? It doesn't say virus, it says vaccine. We are leading by the power of our example. We are not giving an example of our power. US, whether you like Donald Trump or not, he says we will never forget. We've gifted several million doses to so many nations. Are you aware of the CoWIN platform? We created it, and in July, we shared it free with 60 countries. And I can tell you this from a position of authority. So many international, multinational IT companies asked us, they said, please allow us to market CoWIN, we'll both make money. Your Prime Minister says, ye mufat mein denge. And we are customizing it for countries that are not familiar with IT. Look, we are a health superpower, whether you like it or not. The UN Secretary General says India's vaccine production is the best asset of the world. And I know, because I've been involved in UN missions, peacekeeping missions, we gave 200,000 vaccines free UN peacekeeping missions. Why didn't any other country think of it? Do you know why? Because we are a very good people. When we talk of the world as one family, we actually mean this. We destroyed smallpox and diphtheria and AIDS and poliomyelitis and your skin disease and maternal and neonatal tetanus. We had a dismal doctor-patient ratio when we were attacked. We had one doctor for 6,500. Now we have one doctor for 1,000 Indians. I promise you, sons and daughters of India, keep the faith. We will eliminate the virus. Look at the way our vaccination is proceeding. We've just broken all international records by vaccinating 10 million people in one day. No other country can do it. We can, because we are Indians. As far as climate change is concerned, of the G20 countries, only India increased its voluntary commitment. We started the International Solar Alliance. Do you know, when we launched the International Solar Alliance, I'll share something with you. In Paris, in November of 1915, 6 years ago, I was there. And we had promised that we would produce 20 gigawatts of solar energy by 2021. And there were many people in 2015 who told me not a chance in hell. Some television channels approached me and said, do you think you can do it? I said, well, let's give it a shot. We achieved it. We achieved our target 3 years ahead of schedule. And I called the same channels and I said, would you like a sound bite from me now? Earlier, you had some doubts. They said, nahi ji, hamara anchor bimar hai, hamari owner is gone on leave, etc., etc. They don't want to see India's success. These are our channels. I'm not talking about international ones. The enhanced 2022 promise we achieved in 21. Our 2030 promise of 450 gigawatts, a gigawatt is a billion watts of solar energy, we will achieve it ahead of schedule. We've eliminated open defecation. Do you know that 2/3 of our energy will be renewable in the next 6 years? Think what that'll do to your oil imports. Think of the money that you will save. The world's 2 largest solar parks will be in India. Look, we want a world that is free of domination. For poverty alleviation, we need open seas. We want a free and open Indo-Pacific. When we talk of the Indo-Pacific, we're not talking of India. We're talking of the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. Who can keep the Indian Ocean free? The Americans are an Atlantic and Pacific power. They have no business fooling around here in the Indian Ocean. Take a look at India's military strength. Not my figures. These are international figures from Global Firepower Index. General Saab, dekhiega, the most powerful military in the world today, the United States. They spend more than the next 20 countries combined. Second most powerful, Russia. Third, India. China, number 4, because it spends more on internal security than on defense. If the People's Liberation Army, China is afraid, will liberate the people from the Chinese Communist Party. So they do not spend on defense as much as they do internally. New technologies will emerge. Who adopts new technologies more easily, Ms. Kulkarni? Young minds or old minds? Raise your right hand if it's young mind, left hand if it's old minds, I can see you. Who adopts it easily? Young minds? Nod your head. Right. Which country has the greatest number of young minds?
Lankan ki chori nana, Paris ki pori nana, India. Aha. Nothing official about it.
1 out of 3 Japanese today is above 60 years. 1 out of 4 Europeans, 1 out of 6 Chinese, and 1 out of 12 Indians. One of my teachers at the Sorbonne was a character called Alfred Sauvy, may his soul rest in peace. He said Europe will soon be society of old people living in old homes, discussing old ideas. No new innovation out of Europe in 30 years. The Pope says Europe is an elderly and haggard continent. Since 1 of 3 Japanese today is above 60 years, you don't see children in Japan. They've forgotten how to make babies. I did interact with their former Prime Minister. I said, Your Excellency, we can transfer the technology to you how to make babies. Look at the number that we produce every year. He was very pleased. He laughed. He said, you guys. Look at the youthification of India. There is a demographic window of opportunity When you are below 15 years, you consume more than you produce. When you're above 64 years, you consume more than you produce. So it's between 15 and 64 or 65 that you produce more than you consume. Median age means half the population is below, half is above. India's median age is 29. 65 crore Indians like me are less than 29, and 69 and 65 crore Indians like General Saab are more than 29. Russia's median age is 40. Japan is 47. Buddha Desh hai. USA 38, Western Europe 44. Chad and Niger, two African countries, it's less than 16. One of my bosses asked me, "ये दिन भर करते क्या है?" मैंने कहा, "सर आप जाके पूछिए ना, उनकी मीडिया एज अगर इतनी छोटी बच्चे पैदा करते हैं." Niger में, by the way, the average Nigerian, not Nigerian, Nigerian woman produces 7.2 children during her reproductive years. And a Nigerian man has 4 wives. It's an Islamic country. तो आप सोच लीजिएगा 3 cricket team तो घर में खड़ी हो जाती है. By the way, in 2020, Japan made less than 1 million babies, and they sell more adult diapers than baby diapers. This is Japan for you. Focus on education. I'm talking to teachers one day before International Teachers' Day. Have you read the Mahabharata? Of course you have. When the 4 Pandav brothers fall down senseless because they have drunk from the pond without answering the spirit's question. The spirit, the Yaksh, then asks Yudhishthir, "Insan ki sabse badi amanat kya hai?" And Yudhishthir says, "Education." 10,000 years ago, sons and daughters of India, while these white people were running around naked in the jungles, we were talking of education. There were 500 colleges and universities in India in 1950, a year before I was manufactured. We have 15 lakh schools. The Birla Group is one of the best in the universe. And by the way, daughters of India, we have 340 million, 34 crore students in India. 50.2% are our daughters. 50.2%. Thank you for giving me lectures on gender equality. I know what I'm talking about. My literacy in 1947 was 12%. Today it is over 85%. Should be 100% soon. Scream, shout, yell, school mein ye nahi hai, wo nahi hai, ye kuch nahi hai, ye black money hai, white money hai, green money hai. Doesn't matter. The institutions are there, admissions are there, teaching is there, but people are hungry for knowledge. And the digital economy, we had 26 billion online transactions in India last year, 20 for every Indian. I'm not saying that every Indian has access to the digital economy. For example, in my own family, my wife and I were calculating in the month of August 2021, 97% of our purchases of our transactions were online. We even order our wretched vegetables from Big Bazaar and Amazon. We just don't need to move out because of the virus. FDI is rushing into India. New age tech-enabled startups. You see the number of unicorns that are growing? China is not getting the kind of money that we are.
सुनो गौर से दुनिया वालों, बुरी नजर ना हम पे डालो, चाहे जितना जोर लगा लो, सबसे आगे होंगे हिंदुस्तान.
How do we know that we'll play our destined role, sons and daughters of India? Because India has children like you. Faith in India is at an all-time high. Every international election that we contest, we win. In the UN, we are told very often, "आप ये election लड़ लीजिएगा." हमने कहा, "We have no interest." नहीं, आप India हैं, आपको लड़ना पड़ेगा, आप जीत जाएंगे. So very reluctantly we fight and we come first in the elections because people trust us. People want us. Nobody trusts China. There is a thing called the Edelman Trust Barometer. You can Google it. 2021 barometer shows even Chinese citizens are losing trust in their government. Ma'am, my journey, I'm an observer analyst. I was made in India in 1951. I'll tell you what I've seen. 1951 is the year we took 2 million tons of wheat on loan from the United States. 1956, our foreign exchange reserves were 0. 65, we fought a war with Pakistan. 65, the rains failed. We devalued our currency. We made the largest imports of wheat in human history. 9 and 11 million tons. You've heard the expression, living hand to mouth. We lived ship to mouth. Mrs. Gandhi went to the US in 1966. I worked with her. Badi khuddar aurat hai, woman with tremendous self-respect. An American newspaper said that the Indian leaders come begging. You don't do that to Mrs. Gandhi. she would call Lyndon Johnson and say, we need another shipment, we are starving. We were told in 1966, don't eat on Monday evenings. Sons and daughters of India, ask me what hunger is. I slept hungry 1 year, 52 Mondays of 1966, I didn't eat. Not that my father couldn't afford it, but he said, it's a national emergency, don't. And then Mrs. Gandhi came back and told her secretary, P.N. Huxer, who was my guru in the Foreign Service, India will never beg for food again. We are now the second largest producer of food grains in the world. Who did it? Not the Americans, not people from Mars or Venus or Pluto, the Indian farmer, the Indian scientist, the Indian doctor, the Indian Aam Aadmi, the Indian bureaucrat. Be very proud of what we have achieved. Our humiliation in the 60s, the brain drain, 60s, 70s, our best and brightest left, including my family. I have nobody in India. I have a brother and sister. We have 2 children, all settled in the United States. I have nobody here. They left. 70s, 80s, we had the oil price shocks. In 1991, we had less than $2 billion. A billion has 9 zeros in our treasury. We mortgaged our gold. We needed a loan of $600 million to pay for some imports. Our best friends, England and Switzerland, said, we trust you, won't be able to pay it back. We mortgaged our gold, 150 tons. I was working with Pitroda at that time. You heard of Sam Pitroda, the technology whiz kid. I cried on his shoulder. I said, Sam, is this the country I serve? He said, this too will pass. And today, your country sits on well over $600 billion of foreign exchange reserves. Our comprehensive renaissance began in 1990. Mobile telephony, metro, Aadhaar cards, IT progress. I mean, one of the proudest moments of my life when Mr. Tata signs the takeover of Jaguar Land Rover. Airtel takes over Zen. Space technology, we have the world record for 100 satellites being launched within a minute from the same rocket. People say, what's so great? Well, we tell them, try doing it that they don't collide with each other. It was only Indian scientists that could do it. 2003, we told all our foreign aid benefactors, thank you, but no thank you, we don't want it. 2004, you remember the tsunami? We'll deal with it ourselves. 2016, 2019, we smoked terrorists out of their holes in Pakistan occupied Kashmir and Pakistan. हम लोग सुनते नहीं हैं नरेंद्र मोदी क्या कह रहा है. पतन गुजरात में 2019 during the elections, he said, हमें सताओगे तो घर में घुस के मारेंगे. We've proved it. We have that capacity. He told our enemies, साथ में पाताल में भी छुपोगे, निकाल के लाएंगे, वहां पे मारेंगे. This is the new India. 2020, General Saab, we smashed China's nose. China didn't expect it, but your boys, my 20 kids, including the colonel and my boys, they laid down their lives for India. It took China 8 months to even acknowledge that they lost 4 people. Then they said, sorry, it was 8. Now they are saying 12. Then they said 25. They are liars. Their DNA consists of deception and deceit and denial. And in 2021, we are healing the world with our vaccine.
रुत बदली है जैसे रुख बदला हो, जैसे बढ़ती निराशा का कोहरा छटा हो, जैसे भारत की अब नई पहचान है चारों
नई पहचान. This is a book written by an American diplomat. Our time has come. How India is making its place in the world. This was in 2019. The Prime Minister said the same thing on 15th August 2021. अब भारत का समय आया है. It's our time now. Let the world be on notice. Barack Obama came in October 2013, went back to America and told American children, people from Bangalore are competing with you directly, working every day to out-educate and out-compete us. You know, he came to India twice when he was president, and he came again in December 2018, 3 times. First time in US history. Perhaps he has a girlfriend in Calcutta. If you find out, do let me know. He keeps coming to India so often, wants to come again. Have you heard of a fellow called Billu Bhai Gates? The chap who created a racket called Microsoft. He was at the Singapore FinTech Festival last year. He said, if there's one country you want to study, study India. Innovation there is phenomenal. Things are exploding. And our arms control, our arms imports are down. We have made the cheapest market. We have created the cheapest market for mobile internet data, 2017, Jio. Like him, hate him, whatever, we've done it because India voted for strong leadership in 2014, 2019. Do you know what our private wealth is? $8.2 trillion. Trillion has 12 zeros, the sixth largest in the world. Now, this includes the gold that you wear and all the money that you've buried under your beds and all that you keep in your lockers, all the black and white and green money. We are just behind the UK and Germany. What about our private spending? Number one consumption expenditure last year, sons and daughters of India, was on looking better. We have 650,000 towns and villages in India, and we have 15 million beauty parlors. Even I go to one. I'm sure that Ms. Basu goes there, Ms. Kulkarni goes there, Ms. Singhi goes there, everybody does. I go to get my hair cut, that's also a beauty parlor. Second, we are spending money on eating better. I'm sure where you are in Kolkata, you have Swiggy, Piggy, Zomato, Tomato, all these fellows. That's not eating, and you have Mr. McDonald's and you have Mr. KFC, all that rubbish is there. That's not eating better, but anyway, we think so. We are living better, we are traveling better. 150 million air travelers in 2019, making 2 billion visits. I don't give you figures for 2020 because we had the lockdown. Do you know we have 1.6 billion mobile connections today for a population of 1.35 billion, of which 1 billion are smartphones? Which country has this kind of percentage? 1 billion smartphones out of 1.6 billion mobile connections. And of course, you go to health clubs and you go and education. And of course, we go to theaters and whatever and whatever. 2015 yoga resolution was co-sponsored by 177 out of 193 UN members, largest in UN history. We didn't need to vote because 177 countries said, "Ye hamari resolution hai." Ek European ambassador bhashan de raha tha. Kehta hai, my country supports yoga because India is the spiritual mother of all mankind. I stood 6 inches taller. July 2015, we brought out thousands of foreign nationals, 41 countries from Yemen, because civil war had started and the Saudis and the others were bombarding them. They are still doing that. Yemenis said, no Russians, no Chinese, no Americans, no British, no French, no Germans. We only trust the Indians. The same year, I was in France for the Solar Alliance thing in November of 2015. This French immigration officer, since I speak French fluently, at Charles de Gaulle Airport, looks at my passport and says, "Ambassador of the land, are you an ambassador of India?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Oh, you brought out 200 Frenchmen from Yemen." I said, "Yeah, if we made a mistake, we'll take them back." He says, "No, sir." He stands up, salutes me, and says, "Thank you, India. Thank you, India." In 1989, we were invited to the conference of the OIC, the Organization of Islamic, uninvited because Pakistan threw a fit. They said, "No, we to come home humiliated." 22 years ago, the OIC country's 50th anniversary meeting of foreign ministers, India. And may I remind you, exactly 2 years ago at the East Asian Economic Forum, your country, poor and starving, gives $1 billion soft loan to Russia. Your Prime Minister says Russia stood by us in our moment of distress. We stand by Russia because you are under pressure from the West. India giving a loan to Russia. Come on, am I on? At the height of the Kargil conflict, General Saab, this young Indian villager asked how he could register for the army. He was lame in both. When his handicap was pointed to him, this was his response. "Sir," he said, "I have come to fight the enemy, not to run away from the enemy." This is the spirit of India. This is a picture I took in Sikkim. You might recall September 2001, there was a massive earthquake in Sikkim, and the road from Siliguri to Gangtok is the capital of Sikkim, was broken in 300 places. When the earthquake comes, the mountain breaks, carries the road with it. On the bottom right of the screen, you can see the Tista River. See this kid, how he's perched precariously. He's drilling, he's going to put dynamite inside, blow up the thing, the mountain will recede, he'll build the road. We had to do it. So we asked the best country in the world, the best engineers, Austrians, but there's a mountainous country, how long will it take you to repair this road? 300 places it was broken. They told us 6 weeks. The then Prime Minister said, we can't wait 6 weeks. So we asked the border roads The Director General, and I know that I took this picture, I was there in Sikkim do an assessment, and I'll come back and tell you how long it'll take. 19 hours later, as I sit before you, as God is my witness, 19 hours later, he called, tell the Prime Minister the road is open. 6 weeks, the Austrians said, 19, we did it. Sons and daughters of India, we are unstoppable. When we want to do something, we achieve it without fuss. I went to the home of a Sikkimese woman. We lost 20 or 25 of these kids because they were working overnight. I went to a Sikkimese woman's home whose kid had died. I went and told her sister, whatever the government is paying me for this film is yours. A personal check is yours. Border Roads will give compensation because her 24-year-old kid had died. Army will give you, Sikkim government, you'll get a lot of money, anything else. She said, हाँ भाई साहब, आप तो special advisor हैं, मेरा एक छोटा बेटा उसको नौकरी दिलवा दिया. I promised her. I said, बहन, as soon as I go back to Delhi, I'll speak to Birla, Tata, Ani, Singhania, whoever, and get your younger kid who's 22 a job. कि छोटे बेटे को आप प्राइवेट सेक्टर में लगा, उसको बॉर्डर रोड्स में नौकरी दिलवा दो. मेरा बड़ा बेटा शहीद हुआ है भारत के लिए, छोटे को मौका दो. वक्त आएगा तो वो भी शहीद हो जाए भारत के लिए. I held her hands in mine. As the water rushed to my eyes, I said, माँ, तुझे सलाम. अगर मेरा जन्म भारत में होता, if I'm born again in this country, may it be from the womb of a mother like you. And she answered, she gave me the answer to one of my questions. What defines us as Indians? I got the answer. We are not Indians because we live in India, sons and daughters of India. We are Indians because India lives in us. You know, 15% of the world that rule the other 85%, they are facing disruption, loneliness. UK even has a minister for loneliness. They are training young people how to be companions to rich old widows. I wanted to be a companion too. They said, well, we might be lonely, but we are not that lonely. India is bubbling with self-confidence and new energy. Deloitte does an attitude survey of millennials and post-millennials born between 1983 and 2003. The most positive are your children, are our children. They want a big car, they want a nice house, they want a lovely spouse, they want a good salary. Most of all, they want to impact society. I didn't say this. Deloitte days and Goldman Sachs says India's growth story will be one of the most compelling in the world. Never, never, never again, sons and daughters of India, for too long have others written our destiny. We made mistakes, never, never again. I touch my ears because now we make a commitment to ourselves. May God forgive me. We will write our future ourselves. No one else dare write it for us. This is, if you ever go to Kargil again, you'll see my tombstone at the feet of a statue of the Lord Buddha. I'm a Buddhist. There's a huge statue in Apati, the same family as the Bamiyan Buddhas destroyed by the Taliban. It simply says Deepak Vohra, India, 1951 to eternity. And I've borrowed this phrase from the military. Scattered in the dust, silent I remain. When India's bugle calls, I will rise again. So as an Indian, have faith and calm yourself. Do not allow cynicism to affect you. अरे आपका जन्म इस देश में हुआ है, लॉटरी लगी है. जीत जो है ना, वो डर से आगे, डर के आगे बढ़ो, क्योंकि डर के आगे जीत है. किसी ने उस फकीर से पूछा था, बापू मैं दुनिया कैसे बदलूं? बापू ने कहा अपने आप से शुरू करो. Begin with yourself. Sons and daughters of India, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Sen, we are not gods, but we are Indians. That's the next best thing. We build every 2 seconds, one toilet. Every hour, today, despite the virus, we are building 1.5 kilometers of world-class highway. Every second, we open 2 bank accounts. Every 1.5 seconds, we are lifting 1 Indian out of extreme poverty. We are incredible, chafing, churning. We are in puberty at 74. Said 125 years ago, future India must be much greater than ancient India. He said, India is awakening, and all those of you who were sleeping for the last 35 minutes, please wake up now. I believe firmly that God is Indian.
अरे अभी तो पार्टी शुरू हुई है. अरे अभी तो पार्टी शुरू हुई है.
Thank you so much for your time and patience. याद रखिए, अभी तो पार्टी शुरू हुई है. India is reaching out for its destiny, and we will achieve it very quickly. Thank you for being teachers. Thank you for training young minds. Thank you for preparing this generation that is already playing such an important part to take over the reins when people like me transition. I don't know how much time I have left, but I came crying into this world, as all children do. I'll go with a smile. A privilege to be in there. Thank you. Thank you so much. I trust that didn't bore you too much. ये अपने जो आप बच्चों को तालीम देते हैं एक चीज सिखा दीजिए. General Saab, in 1948, when we liberated Kargil for the first time from the Pakistani terrorists, my father did the electrification at Baltal, from where the Yatra Amarnath begins today, and we took tanks there, as you remember. And at that point of time, since he was an engineer officer, there used to be a fellow, Colonel Rajinder Singh Sparrow, who later became a very famous general. He asked my dad, he said, Vora, kya tank le ja sakte hain at 11,800 feet? My dad's response, sir, hum log to fauji hain. Aap bolo chand pe le jaएं to chand par bhi le jayenge. Well, we took our tanks, and when we attacked Pakistan in November when we attacked the fellows hiding there on the both sides of Zojila Pass, which is 11,800 feet, Mukund Hill and Chabutra, when we attacked them with our tanks, World War II tanks, mind you, 1948, it was the first time in human history. We can do anything when we set our minds to it. Remember this. Jab आपत्ति आएगी ना इस देश पर, एक अवतार. He's here today. Thank you.
Thank you.
I can't hear you. Go. I can hear you now.
Can you hear us, sir?
Yes, I can. I'm sorry. Sometimes I tend to get a bit emotional. Forgive me.
Thank you, Honorable Ambassador, for motivating all of us. And I think together we can all say, Chak De India. Now, the forum is open for a short interaction with you, sir. So we have a couple of teachers who's going to ask you questions. So may we proceed with that? Sir?
Yeah, sure. If anybody wants to ask a question, yeah, sure. I have no problem. Questions are never difficult. It's the answers that are. We'll go right ahead. And what I can't answer, General Saab will. Go ahead. Is anybody who wants to ask a question, feel free.
Thank you so much, sir. I think I almost felt that we are here for Independence Day and not for Teachers' Day. It was lovely listening to so many interesting and motivating things about the nation, sir. So I just had a simple question. Do you think India will be able to create such a job market, leaving which no promising young mind would want to seek a job abroad?
I couldn't hear you clearly. You were talking about jobs in India, sir?
Yes, sir. So I was asking that, do you think India will be able to create such a job market, leaving which no promising young mind would seek a job abroad?
You're absolutely right, sir. Let me put it to you like this. In the last 70 years, how many Indians left India because they were persecuted? Most were economic migrants. They were not political refugees. The Afghans leaving today are also economic migrants and political refugees, but all Indians were economic migrants, my brother, my sister, because they wanted a better standard of living. They wanted more money. That's why they all go. Today, not so much in West Bengal, but where I come from, Punjab, Haryana, it's all, ji kisi tarah Canada jana, because they think that the streets are paved with gold. Yes, we are trying to create jobs, not because the intention is to keep those people in India. We have ample talent. The intention is to prevent violence. You know, the young people, sir, wherever I've seen a revolution in the last 10 years, you remember the Arab Spring, it started in Tunisia, and I'll tell you how it started. It has always been unemployed young people. Egypt, the government was toppled. Burkina Faso, Yemen, unemployed young people. What happened, and I'll tell you in Tunisia, I've served in Tunisia. Young kid, a graduate from one of Tunisia's universities. They have the best universities, free education. Couldn't get a job. So he used to sell vegetables from a redi. And the police came one day and said, "You have a license?" He said, "No." So they took away his redi. He was supporting his family. This kid bought a bottle of kerosene, went outside the president's palace, poured it on his head, and set himself on fire. That began the Arab Revolution, the Arab Spring, as they call it. From one country to another, from Tunisia to Algeria to Libya to Egypt to Yemen to Somalia to Burkina Faso to Kenya to Sudan, one after the other, it went because it was young unemployed people. That is my nightmare. And I believe we are going to address that through our focus on self-employment, through our focus on Hunar Se Rozgar. We are very aware of this, and all the programs that the government is implementing, it's to find employment for these people, for our children. Because if he can't get a job and he has been taught by outstanding teachers like I have on my screen, he will revolt, sir. We have seen youth power. I don't know if any of you remember 2011 when that girl was violated in a bus, and these young kids had blocked the nation's capital, particularly if you've been to Delhi, the Rajpath between, which is now being remodeled, between India Gate and South and North Block. They had completely stopped it. And I remember, sir, asking a very senior police officer that we may have to ask you to use force to disperse this crowd because they had blocked everything. They were stopping the government's work. You know his response to me? He said, "Saab, main apna istifa de raha hu. I will not use force on our children." The president of Egypt ordered his troops to fire on those kids. 1989, China asked the PLA to shoot the children who had erected a Statue of Liberty in Tiananmen Square. They shot 5,000. India won't do it. It's not our style. Hong Kong, see what they are doing. Everywhere, Tibet, Xinjiang, whatever. Burkina Faso, the same thing. Mozambique, I've seen the same thing. Angola, I've seen the same thing. These kids want change. These kids want to lead a full life, and we'll make sure that they do. Otherwise, we are in deep trouble.
Thank you so much.
Sir. Ms. Bhaumik, do you have a question?
Good afternoon.
Ms. Bhaumik? You're smiling. You don't have a question. All right.
Good afternoon, sir.
Actually,
This is Ms. Arpita Bhaumik?
believe what you said, and I liked it when you said that the children, we should keep the children here. The children should not leave our country because they are not getting what they want. So this is, you know, my son, he left the country to study abroad, but I would want him to come back and work here.
Will he come back? Will he come back?
I am not sure, sir, but I would want him to come back, as a mother would always want.
We have two children. We've gifted both to the United States. There's no way that they'll come back. Now, the only people left in India is my wife.
They have a better life
and
there. Yeah, they think so. But then I've lived in United States for quite a few years, but I'm very happy to be back in India.
Ma'am, I would never be able to live there. At my age, when I was younger, perhaps.
Perhaps, yes, you're right, sir. It's better to be back in your own country.
And feel happy over here. But the United States, as you know, remains the ultimate magnet. Given a chance, 9 out of 10 wretched Chinese would want to go there. By the way, General Sir, and for all you teachers, there's something very interesting. The Americans have the concept of citizenship by birthright, jus soli. If you're born in the United States, you get an American citizenship.
Yeah, one of
so
my
there was a racket. Yeah. So there was a racket that was busted in China where women in their 6-7 months of pregnancy would go to the United States to have their babies. There was a travel agency called May JB. You know what that means? Good American baby. They were sending their kids, their women there, pregnant women, to have American children. I don't think of any American wanting to go and take Chinese nationality. Everybody and his grandmother wants to be a US citizen. It is still the ultimate magnet. It is still the land of opportunity, despite all its weaknesses. And there's one thing which I relish saying: trust the Americans to do the right thing after they've done all the wrong things.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, ma'am, go ahead.
I will ask you a question.
Through my personal,
Please identify yourself.
I'm Tanjeet Pandey, teacher from Birla High School.
Yes, ma'am.
And through my personal experience, I've seen that the children who have graduated in different streams, like a dentist or a teacher from Indian colleges and universities, not the IIM and the IITs, when they have to study again, you know, when they go to the Western countries, if they want jobs over there, they have to study again over there, you know. Do you think the Indian education will be given the same importance as Western education in the near future? And what changes can we make to achieve that?
You know, the new education policy, to answer your question, you have seen it better, you know it better than I do. I believe we are addressing that issue. Are Indian universities good? The IITs, the IIM, schools like yours, yeah, world class. There's no question about it. My favorite story is about this Indian IIT graduate who wanted to set up an IT company, went to a venture capitalist in America and said, look, I need $40 million. They said, no problem at all. It's yours. And then the signed agreement. So he signed. Then they said, hold it. You've signed Murphy. We thought your name was Murthy. We were going to give you the money on Murphy. We won't give you any money. So that's the reality. I mean, wherever we are an IT superpower. You know, I had this experience, General Saab, this must have been at the time of the Y2K thing. You remember that in 2000, everybody was afraid the computers would collapse. And then in 1999, thousands of Indians went and stayed in Germany and in Canada and in England and in America, settling the bug. I was sitting in lounge in Munich airport. This German chap was screaming at his laptop and he sort of wasn't able to get it going. Then he asked me, he says, where are you from? I said, I'm an ambassador of India. He said, repair my computer. So look, I'm not your grandfather's employee, but look, I'll try. So I took it, rebooted the thing. It started working. I gave it back to him. He said, you see, you Indians, you have an IT brain. I said, well, thank you very much. I didn't do anything. I just rebooted the system. But that's the impression they have about India, that we are brilliant, which is true, which is an impression based on fact. We are brilliant. So, Ms. Singhi?
Speaking Singhi from Birla High School. So my question is, with this COVID pandemic, the new AI coming in, what would be the role of teachers? If we talk about India 2030, what would be the role of teachers when we have so much technology?
What will be the role of teachers in tackling the crisis?
Yes. And with the AI, you know, managing the AI and technology that is coming up.
Sorry, I didn't get your question. The voice was cracking. Are you saying that what is the role of teachers in dealing with the coronavirus crisis?
No. With the new technology which is coming up, the AI, the new technology which is coming up. So what will be the role of teachers? We are having hybrid teaching.
Oh, absolutely. The role of teachers will be phenomenal. First, you have to educate yourselves. Try sitting in an autonomous car. If you don't scream, I'll give you an award. And it's frightening to be sitting in a vehicle that there's no driver. It's frightening. When I visit Amazon, for example, I want to shop for shirts. I don't buy it. For the next 20 days, I'm bombarded with ads every time I log on to Google. This is all auto-validation. They know what I'm doing. And there's something very funny. When I went to some place and the chap says, look, can I get your telephone number or whatever? I said, buddy, Amazon has it. Flipkart has it. Every wretched online platform has it. How come the government of India doesn't have it? You guys go and ask them, Amazon, they'll give you my telephone number and my address. But that's the way it is. This is all engineered intelligence. They know everything that I'm speaking to you now. And some intelligence agency sitting in the United States is listening into this to see if I'm a threat to America's global interests. Please be assured that you all have Aadhaar cards, don't you? I mean, every Indian now has an Aadhaar card, right? I don't wish to frighten you. Scream as much as you want about privacy, but every time you use that, you go to a hotel, you go anywhere, we ask for identification. It's fed into a system. We even know what you ate for breakfast. It's not like the Chinese to do surveillance, but it's just to make sure that India remains safe. That's why we have this system. There was so much of opposition to it. Now I believe people have begun to accept it. It's only for your own safety. We live in a world haunted by terror. We have to deal with it. And artificial intelligence is now providing us, I mean, you do know, I'm sure some of you, General Saab will know, about Sky Striker that is being developed in Bangalore with Israeli participation. It'll be the world's most advanced Predator drone, the most advanced in the world, capable of launching multiple missiles at the same time. And of course, the people who are happiest about it are your neighbors on the West, whatever that country is called, Terroristan or something, Pak something or the other they call it. They are the happiest that we are developing this. Oh, they dare not, they dare not. We are waiting for them.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ambassador Vora, for answering the questions. Now we are going to commence the much awaited award felicitation ceremony. We are indeed privileged to have you, sir, joining us for this ceremony. Now, this year, for the school's categories of awards are based on online teaching. 3 categories have been formulated. They are awards for extraordinary contribution during the pandemic, awards for the best integration of technology into the curriculum, and awards for extraordinary effort during online teaching. To begin with, I would like to invite Mrs. Farida Singh, Headmistress, Birla High School Junior Section, to call out the names of the awardees. Thank you so much, Mrs. The light of the world, the beacon in the dark, and the hope that gives strength to survive even during tough times are you, our dear teachers. A very good afternoon to all, and I'd like to begin by wishing everyone present here a very happy Teachers' Day. Our teachers have risen to the occasion, and they have all worked relentlessly towards making education a holistic and enchanting process, even during these unprecedented times. And I would like to extend my gratitude to all our teachers for the effort, dedication, and selfless service. All our recipients today will receive a cash award of 8,000 rupees, the trophy, and a certificate. Could I request participants joining us virtually to please keep yourself
Okay.
She's not listening. It gives me great joy to announce the teacher awardees from the junior section of Birla High School. It has been said that life isn't waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. The first category of awards is for extraordinary contribution during the pandemic. And the teacher I would like to call upon has been a pillar for many in the last year and a half, from understanding children to parents and even teachers. This lovely lady is equipped with a lot of patience. She goes beyond her school hours to sit with students and help them cope with their work, as well as with the current scenario. She has taught children to be positive, happy, hone skills, develop hobbies, and use their time fruitfully. She has also taken care of the well-being of many parents who were finding it very hard to cope with the recent pandemic. I would like to call upon our counselor, Mrs. Purna Mazumdar, to receive the award for her extraordinary contribution. Congratulations. Moving on to the next recipient in this category, this teacher's dedication knows no bounds. Currently in the virtual mode of learning too, her exceptional dedication towards training the students for the various inter-school competitions, assemblies, and other programs has indeed been praiseworthy. An exceptionally knowledgeable music teacher who has equipped herself ably to the online mode of learning. I welcome on stage Ms. Nandita Chakravarti. Mr. Banerjee wants to. No. It's okay, it's okay. Thank you so much. Congratulations. The teacher I would like to call upon next is a polite and soft-spoken lady with a pleasant demeanor. This teacher is the PowerPoint queen of Birla High School. From training our boys for inter-school competitions to making innumerable videos and presentations, this teacher has worked exceptionally well to help in all our virtual ventures. Our transition from offline to online teaching went off seamlessly, riding on her able shoulders. We congratulate Mrs. Pyali Ganguly for receiving this award. Mrs. Pyali Ganguly has also been receiving the Perfect Attendance Award for over 10 years. So yesterday when I spoke to her, I said, this time not going to be for perfect attendance. Congratulations. It has been very rightly said that technology will never replace great teachers, but technology in the hands of great teachers can be transformational. That's the next category of awards, Best Integration of Technology in Education. The first award in this category goes to a very dynamic and hardworking teacher who is known as the Magic Man for his helpful attitude towards everyone. He not only integrates technology very effectively into the curriculum, but he also keeps his team updated with the latest tools, helping his peers whenever required. His class control and crisp instructions help the students to move ahead with confidence. He is also a great poet who can instantly write on any given subject and can frame captions whenever required. The teacher is none other than Mr. Deepak Gyananand. Congratulations, sir. Education is not filling up of a pot, but the lighting of a fire. And that fire is truly ignited in the students by this gentle and soft-spoken teacher. She integrates technology very effectively into the curriculum and keeps the students abreast of the culture, heritage, and the roots of the very foundation. She is an excellent elocutionist and is intensely loved by her students. She made the subject Bengali come alive with her innovative teaching techniques. I congratulate Mrs. Millie Chakrabarti Paul for her exceptional work. Our next teacher to receive the award in this category is a poetess, a writer, a teacher par excellence. This lady has successfully integrated technology into the curriculum, thereby ensuring her students remain engaged effectively during online classes. In fact, a number of parents too have been regulars in her class, as they find the classes so interesting. She has not only used technology during classes, but has also done so during various activities. She has trained our students for inter-school as well as various intra-school events. The lady I call upon is none other than Mrs. Kanchi Agarwal. Our Hindi department has done us very proud in the last year, and we have 3 teachers from the Hindi department receiving awards this year. Congratulations, sir. Awards is for extraordinary effort during online teaching. And the teacher I call upon to receive the award in this category is an affectionate and loving teacher who is popular with her students. He doesn't show or say extremely agile. He continuously trains our boys and gets accolades for various competitions that we have taken part in over the last year. Her classes are equally attractive and enjoyable, and this exceptionally equipped Hindi teacher is none other than Mrs. Shalini Mishra. Teachers, I request please wait for the photographs to be taken before leaving this stage. Where is the box? An able and approachable teacher, this lady is an active and valued member of our Hindi department. Her technical skills are very strong and she has created great resources for her online classes. From helping students to perform in various activities to sharing resources with her fellow teachers, this lady quietly does everything but very, very efficiently. No noise is made about it. We are extremely happy to call upon Mrs. Anamika Jha to receive the award for extraordinary effort during our life. Congratulations, sir. And the last teacher receiving the award for extraordinary effort during online teaching is a very warm and affectionate teacher with a very good connect with her students. She possesses excellent communication skills and is extremely vigilant about her students' progress. Her poise and her diction sets her apart and makes her a favorite amongst many. As a class coordinator, it was indeed a huge challenge that she faced last year, but she brought her team together, overcame all technical inhibitions, and adopted to the digital platform very well. She is none other than Sanjeev Pandit. Before I end, I would like to thank the management for their constant guidance and their cooperation. The last year and a half would not have been so easy to ride through if it wasn't for all the support that we received from each one of you. So, Ma'am Nen, Ma'am Sehgal, everyone, thank you so much. A special thank you to the entire staff, both teaching and non-teaching staff, junior section, for all your hard work that you put in to ensure the smooth functioning of the school. Thank you so much. May I now request Mrs. Sehgal, Principal Birla High School, to please come up and announce the awardees.
Thank you, Mrs. Faridas. Good afternoon, Dr. Deepak Koda. So finally we meet. We've been talking over the phone. And I can tell you everyone here is very charged and very proud to be an Indian today. Are we not? Can we give him a round of applause one more time?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, all those who have joined us physically and those who are virtually watching this program from home. A very happy Teachers' Day to all of us. You all know that we look forward to this day, and it's really a special day in our fraternity. And this, I'm sure that most of you will agree with me when I say that this has been a very challenging year, 2020-2021. This new genre of online teaching has been a real learning for all of us. Like we know that from tough and trying times, stones become diamonds. Similarly, we have found our victors for the day, who adapted to online teaching and are in the truest sense our COVID warriors. You're aware that the year necessitated different categories of awards. So here I am on behalf of Birla High School Senior Section, announcing the names of our winners. Before we come to this, I would really like to thank from my heart all our staff. both teaching and non-teaching, who strove hard and ensured that learning never ceased. My special and heartfelt thanks goes out to all our coordinators who really held the bastion together, especially our IT coordinators who made sure that this was a difficult but a satisfying year because they made us learn, they learned, we learned again along with them. So let me begin with the first category of awards, that is for extraordinary contribution during the pandemic. Now, this teacher has been a consistent help and support for almost all our co-curricular activities. The pandemic saw him emerging as a video editor, along with being a music teacher. He readily has helped in fine-tuning all our co-curricular virtual events, blending his skills as a teacher of synthesizer. A ready worker who never says not possible, ma'am, to any problem. Please come up, Mr. Anindya Shah, to receive your well-deserved award. Clap a little louder. Right. All teachers will be happy to know that along with the trophy and the certificate, you are receiving an award of 8,000 rupees for all these categories other than the SP Banerjee Awards. I'll come to that later. That money will be transferred directly to your salary account. Moving on to the next teacher. This teacher has not only contributed immensely to the online physical education classes, but has also taken a keen interest in the physical fitness of her students. While they were at home, his contribution towards the virtual sports program is also noteworthy. Not only this, he has tread the extra mile to ensure that our sports equipment was not spoiled due to the impact of two cyclones, the Yas and the Amphan. A ready help at all times, Mr. Ravinder Pal Singh Dheer can be truly called our Mr. Dependable. Let us hear him, hear it loud and clear for him as he receives. With a pleasant smile, this teacher has done the arduous task of coordinating and managing various online inter-school events, bringing up and following up with participating students, sometimes even late into the night. I know for sure because one night it was nearly 11:30, quarter to 12. We were trying to catch students who were preparing for some online tests. So even ensuring the deadlines of submission were met. Allotting co-curricular subjects to new batch of class 6 has never been an easy task, but she manages to accomplish this task and ensures smooth conduct of these classes on the virtual platforms. Let's welcome Ms. Sweetie Singhi on the stage to receive the award. Move now to the next category, that is best integration of technology into their curriculum. The teacher who will be coming up now is more than just an expert in his own subject and in the academic field. He has the capability to understand the needs of both the students and his colleagues. With his positive attitude and his enthusiasm and his commitment to work, not only does he ensure that being the head of the department, that the department is not only held together, but he profusely uses technology effectively as a team leader. A keen learner himself, Mr. Ashit Kumar Maiti ensures that technology is used in his classes. Let's have a big round of applause for him as he comes up to the teacher. The next awardee for this morning is Debashri Shah, is an enthused department head where she shares ideas, new methodologies and pedagogies of teaching mathematics with her team. She is able to adapt to the paradigm shift in the field of education and has effectively implemented the same amongst her department members. She balances the job of being a team leader and a class teacher in a perfect manner, giving equal importance to both. Her follow-up of the students who need more attention is indeed praiseworthy. I invite her to receive her award on behalf of the class. Our next teacher who will be coming up is a little shy, but this teacher has shown a great sense of responsibility and is very prompt with his work. His inputs are incredible during teamwork, and he has ensured that as a department head, he is constantly communicating and helping his team members. So much so that he took on the load of teaching extra for 2 teachers when they were down with COVID last year. Please come up, Mr. Arnav Datta. This is the time we should acknowledge your dedication and commitment to our school. I move on now to the third category of awards for the morning. I call upon a young teacher who is an efficient facilitator to her students, who explores and deduces methods and techniques to motivate them. She strives to find new ways to keep her students on task and encourages them to succeed. She gives importance to collaborative learning and creativity. She herself believes in lifelong learning, and a joy of learning inspires others. She has contributed immensely towards the International Dimensions Award from the British Council, which we received some time back, and is now consistently working on our NABIT accreditation. Come up, Ms. Sindhuti Guha, to receive your well-deserved award. Like a fish takes to water, this teacher uses technology to her advantage for the betterment of the teaching and learning process, as well as for the smooth functioning of our mathematics department in the middle school. She has successfully incorporated various online tools demonstrated by the Super Teacher workshop into her lesson plans. Her pleasant and gentle demeanor makes her a popular colleague and a co-worker. Let's put our hands together for Mrs. Aparna Lahiri when she comes to receive her award. She got the shock of her life when I called her up yesterday. I said, Aparna, are you taking class? She said, no. I said, then walk to your cupboard, take out your best sari, iron it, and get ready for the award tomorrow. Our next awardee who will be coming up to receive the award is a cool and composed staff member. Always ready to lend a helping hand and has a quick, and she herself is a quick learner. Very dependable and hardworking, she has been a great help with a lot of technological work for all our school's virtual programs. Ms. Anuja Datta, please come up and receive your award. At Birla High School in the senior section, we have 2 awards which come under the SP Banerjee category. They receive a badge, a certificate, a trophy, as well as 2,500 rupees, which, like we just said, will be transferred to their account directly. Blessed with an extremely melodious voice, this teacher is a keen helper with all co-curricular activities of our school. She strives to give her time and energy to all our school events. Her positive and willing attitude has ensured that she bonds well with her students and her colleagues. Her enigmatic presence in her classroom transforms the mood of the class, from mundane to that of collaborative and joyful learning. Please come up, Priya Khetan, and take your SP Banerjee Award from the stage. Last but not least, the Birla High School senior section, we have a young, soft-hearted and totally committed teacher who's an eager learner and strives to deliver her best to the students. She's also a very conscientious and dedicated member of her department, upgrading herself every now and then. I don't think there's a workshop with CBSE or otherwise which she has not attended. Using technology to the optimum to benefit herself and her students, Ms. Trisha Nath has worked consistently during the pandemic, ensuring that her students were not deprived in any which way. She has adapted very quickly to the BHS culture and works effectively as a class teacher too. Please come up, Trisha Nath. I thank the management of our school for organizing this event on a physical platform because it always acts as a motivator. My heartiest congratulations goes out to all the awardees from all our units. Let's keep striving harder for the betterment of our institution and our students. Thank you, everyone. I'd like to invite Ms. Mini Sen Gupta to please come up and do the honors for Birla High School, Mukundapur. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Deepak Hora, Major General Chaturvedi, esteemed members of the audience, all my colleagues who are in the auditorium, and all of you who have joined us through Zoom. Before I announce the names of the award winners from Birla High School, Mukundapur, I would like to thank the management on behalf of all our teachers for the support and guidance they have always provided us, especially during the pandemic. Thank you. This morning, we will felicitate only a few teachers, 9 of them to be precise from Mukundapur. However, I take this opportunity to thank and congratulate all our teachers for the wonderful work that they continue to do in spite of so many odds. The backbone of any good school are its teachers, and we are proud of each one of you. The first category of awards that I will announce is for extraordinary contribution during the pandemic. And like Mrs. Sehgal announced earlier, all the teachers who receive their award will get a trophy, a certificate, and rupees 8,000, which will be transferred to their salary accounts. Where there is a will, there is a way. The teacher who will receive the award for extraordinary contribution during the pandemic has proved this maxim right. A sincere worker, she overcomes all odds and has not allowed the pandemic or the lockdown to impede the inter-house activities, the annual concert, the annual sports meet, and various other activities of the school. She is very creative and at the same time techno-savvy. Her expertise in handling various musical instruments is enviable. Her skill in using technology and special effects to create videos is commendable. The annual school concert, which had to be put up virtually, was a super success thanks to her inputs. Ladies and gentlemen, let us put our hands together for the 19th day of Birla High School in Singapore, Ms. Amrita Rajput. Forget what we said, but they will not forget how you made them feel. The next recipient of the award for extraordinary contribution during the pandemic is a firm believer of this statement. She's a soft-spoken, gentle teacher who has excellent classroom management skills. She's a hardworking, silent worker and is an asset to any team she is a part of. She has been successful in creating an interactive ambience in her classroom, which empowers the students, helps them to gain self-confidence and motivates them to be self-learners. The parents are very appreciative of her teaching methods. They have also praised her ability to handle students of differentiated levels of learning in the same classroom. Ladies and gentlemen, I request you to put your hands together for Miss Diana Wright. It has been very rightly said that reading is essential for those who seek to rise above the ordinary. The next teacher who will receive the award for extraordinary contribution during the pandemic is a fine example of this. She is a voracious reader and a bibliophile. She also encourages her colleagues and students to develop the reading habit. She successfully created the digital library of the school single-handedly, thanks to which the students were able to access or are able to rather access hundreds of books from the safety of their homes. Though she is not a Bengali teacher, but she stepped in to take the second language classes when one of her colleagues was on leave and did an excellent job. Her calm disposition has won her the hearts of not only her students, but of the parents too. Ladies and gentlemen, let us put our hands together for our techno-savvy librarian, Mrs. Indira Nikhil. The next category of awards is for the best integration of technology in education. Noted educational reformer John Dewey has very aptly said, if we teach today as we taught yesterday, we rob our children of tomorrow. The teacher who will receive the award for best integration of technology in education waves the magic wand of technology and makes her classes lively and interactive. While children are physically confined in their homes due to the pandemic, she uses a variety of online tools and travels with her students all over the world virtually. She uses project-based pedagogy and game-based assessment tools such as quizzes, Sway, and Nearpod to make learning interesting and fun for her students. She's an excellent team player with a smile on her face, always ready to help. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Miss Amrita Sen. Bill Gates very rightly said, technology is just a tool. In terms of getting the kids working together and motivating them, the teacher is most important. The young lady, who is the next recipient of the award for Best Integration of Technology in Education, not only uses technology to augment her lessons, but at the same time ensures that the human touch is not missing in her classes. She uses augmented reality and virtual reality effectively, enlightening her biology and science lessons. She conducts experiments online. In fact, because of her extensive use of OLAPs developed by Amrita Engineering College, Coimbatore, she was rewarded by the college as a token of their appreciation. This enthusiastic teacher is always motivating her students to integrate technology for creating innovative models and competing with older students in inter-school competitions. Under her guidance, our young students have won laurels for the service. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mrs. Payal Bose. Nelson Mandela had said, and I quote, Education is the most powerful weapon that we can use to change the world, unquote. The next recipient of the award for the best integration of technology in education is a teacher with geographical boundaries. She has provided opportunities to her students to interact and engage with their peers in other parts of the country as well as other parts of the world through exchange programs. Using various student engaging platforms and online tools, with their peers in other schools and have thus gained in confidence. A perfectionist at her work, she is hardworking, patient, firm, yet gentle with her students and has a fantastic bonding with them. She is an eager learner and is always upgrading herself with the latest in technology. Please welcome Mrs. Harsha Lakmani. Next category of awards is for extraordinary effort during online. A wise man once said, "The teacher plants the seeds of knowledge, sprinkles them with love, patiently nurtures produce." The lady who will receive the award for extraordinary effort during online classes is one such teacher. She has been a teacher for over 40 years, and for all these years, barring the last 1.5 years, she has been taking classes in the physical space. However, she took to the online mode of teaching like a fish to water. She is a Hindi teacher, and online support is not so easy to come by, but it is delightful to see her using technology in her online classes. As a language teacher, she teaches various age groups, and it is wonderful to see her changing her teaching methods to suit the age group she is dealing with. She makes the effort to find suitable online tools and games, which she uses intelligently to make her classes interactive, educative, and fun. Please let us hear it for our Hindi teacher, Mrs. Rita Khandeswar. Someone once said, a good teacher can inspire hope, ignite the imagination, and instill a love of learning. The next recipient of the award for extraordinary effort during online classes is a lady who does all this and more. Her students adore her and eat out of her hands, metaphorically, of course. She cares for every student in her class and ensures that each one feels special. Her love for teaching is reflected in the pains she takes to plan her lessons. Students learn without being aware of the fact that they are being taught. She makes her online classes interactive by using a lot of activities. The colorful presentations that she makes delight her students. I'm proud to share that such is her commitment and love for her students that she did not miss a single day of online classes, even when she was down with COVID, even though at times she felt quite unwell. Her determination and love for her students carried her through. Let us put our hands together for Nikita Chak. Best teacher teaches from the heart and not from the book. We all know this, but the teacher who will now receive the award for extraordinary effort during online classes believes in this completely. Her students with whom she has developed an excellent rapport, even while teaching online, love her, and we are overwhelmed by the praise we have received from the parents on her behalf. A hardworking and sincere worker, she has taken on responsibilities quietly without any fuss. For more than a month, without a murmur, she took charge of her class in the absence of her co-teacher. She is an excellent teacher and has always gone out of her way to help her new colleagues settle down. May I request you all to put your hands together for Mrs. Shirley Devi. You. I now invite Mrs. Vidisha Pandya, Headmistress Sushila Birla Girls School, to announce the names of the awardees from Sushila Birla Primary Section.
Thank you, Mrs. Nandika. Very good afternoon, honorable ambassador of the Vipa Forum, Mr. and Mrs. Birla, all dignitaries present here, and my dear colleagues. Christopher Reeve once said, and I quote, "A hero is an ordinary individual who finds the strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming obstacles." During the COVID-19 pandemic, the world witnessed unprecedented challenges and existential threats. Educational institutes were forced to shut its gates in an attempt to contain the virus, but our teachers were moved forward and stood their ground, fighting against all odds. They have worked tirelessly throughout the year to ensure that no learner is left behind. Despite the devastating consequences of the pandemic, teachers have shown great determination, resilience, leadership, and innovation. They have worked with great determination individually and collectively to find solutions and create new learning environment for the students. A big thank you and a very happy Teachers' Day to all our COVID warriors, our unsung heroes. All our awardees this afternoon will receive a certificate, a trophy, and a cash award which will be credited to your bank accounts. The first category of awards this afternoon is for extraordinary contribution during the pandemic. The first recipient of this award is a lady who is well known for her reverberating laughter and a generous nature. She is much loved and sought after. Her patience in handling IT problems, generosity with her time, and training sessions with teachers to create videos independently has reaped us benefits and dividends in the form of an active social media influence. A forthright, warm, emotional member of our SPGS family, Nitya Chatterjee, you truly deserve this award. Thank you. Our next recipient is a thinking individual with a creative bent of mind. Her drive and passion are exemplary. She has been able to move much beyond the textbook, and the entire world is her classroom. Be it the ISA project or the exchange programs, she has been successful in creating a collaborative atmosphere conducive to deep learning. Climate change projects with our French partner school and the various sustainable development programs all saw her evolve as a true champion. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Joyita Shah. A quiet, energetic, and a willing worker, our next awardee spearheaded an excellent project to augment the teaching learning process in Class 1. Blessed with an analytical bent of mind, she's an asset at any level. Being enterprising, she reached out and conducted a couple of cookery workshops for the students of 4 and 5, which were a source of great delight to them. Good deeds are a way of life for this compassionate and accommodating teacher. Dorothy Nair, We are indebted to you for all the love you share, shower on your students, colleagues, and the school. Thank you very much. Our next category of award is Best Integration of Technology into the Curriculum, and the first recipient of this award is a spirited young teacher who immersed herself in technology and reached out to help all her peers during the pandemic. Exploring new software, editing innumerable videos, and undertaking detailed research on the topic of the videos, she took the bull by its horn and tamed it. Prashansha Guru, congratulations. You have proved to all of us when there is a will, there is a way. The magic wand of technology touched different lives and transformed teachers into technical wizards. A singer, our next awardee, has taken the help of machines and apps to fill the virtual classrooms with melody. Blessed with a positive attitude, she has stepped out of her comfort zone and used plenty of apps to create presentations for the social media posts of the school. Mohana Sen, congratulations. A quiet and dedicated worker, our next recipient makes her online classes come alive with the help of technology. Her skills in IT, especially in the field of video making, are praiseworthy. Garima Rajola, thank you for being a part of our SPGS family. Unfortunately, she could not be present for the program today due to some unavoidable circumstances.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
This brings me to the last category of awards, extraordinary efforts during online classes. The first recipient of this award is a lady who stands out for her exemplary commitment and contribution to the school. She is deeply concerned about the holistic development of our students, and her classroom is always filled with the joy of learning. Congratulations, Mrs. Digama. You have truly put in phenomenal energy in your work. Thank you. Determination defines our next award. Like many of us, the pandemic caught us on the wrong foot, and we had to relearn a whole lot of things. She's a living example of the strength of one's willpower. She has put in immense effort in facing the challenge of technology and has emerged victorious. Her music classes are enjoyable and have come alive with all the apps that she uses so proficiently. Sanjay Gagui, take a bow. Thank you, and congratulations once again to all the award winners. I now request Mrs. Clay to come up and announce the names of some more awardees from this mission. Thank you, Mrs. Pandya. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Robert Frost once said, "I'm not a teacher, I'm an awakener." And this awakener reinvented herself to adapt to these difficult times. As an educational institution deeply committed to the all-round development of our students, we recognize the importance of enabling them to continue with their schoolwork from the safety of their homes. Teachers never wavered from their responsibility and restructured their teaching methods and continued to provide an intellectually engaging learning environment. Keeping this in mind, this year, we have restructured our awards for the teachers. This has been an extraordinary year. So our awards and the number of awardees under each category are also unique to this unusual year. The award for extraordinary contribution during the pandemic goes to the teachers of our institution who have reached out and touched many lives. The pandemic has had a major effect on our lives. Many of us are facing challenges that can be stressful and overwhelming. In this trying situation, there were two ladies who have gone out of their way and shown compassion and empathy like no one. Be it a student, teacher, or a parent. One-to-one sessions have helped our stakeholders cope with the challenges. Distressed students who feared losing their loved ones were counseled. Virtual interactions were also organized for teachers to help them excel. These were cathartic in the true sense of the term. Actively involved in planning and executing our town itself, they have been successful in mobilizing everyone towards philanthropy. Please put your hands together for Ranjana Roy and Shita Pagua Rai Bhakto, our counselors, for their community work. Our next awardee's greatest asset is her calm demeanor and logical bent of mind. This committed teacher coordinated the ISA project, our dossier. Under her able guidance was marked as outstanding. Being a science teacher, she is insightful and works with precision. Technology is an integral part of her lessons, and she has been able to rise to the occasion when the school reached out to her. The lady we are looking out for today is Shweta Sarkar. Well done, Shweta. We are in the midst of a profound technological revolution. Incredible advances in computing and AI are transforming all facets of life. Technology has changed education immensely as it enables collaboration and communication undreamt of in the past. Keeping this in mind, our next award is for the best integration of technology into the curriculum. A senior member of our faculty and the wind beneath our wings, this awardee steered the entire school in the right direction when we were all floundering. Training sessions conducted by her gave us the confidence to forge ahead. Familiar with all the norms and regulations of the board, she has voluntarily taken on the responsibility of uploading data on official websites. Tabulation of board results would not have happened smoothly if this tech genius wasn't at the helm of things. Shikha Chatterjee, take a bow. The next recipient of this award has been unfailing in giving of herself. Her unwavering sense of loyalty and commitment are truly exemplary. Though IT is her subject, her willingness to drop everything and guide the uninitiated are worthy of praise. This young lady has been our bedrock of support, whether it is putting together a PPT for the annual prize day, hosting webinars, tutoring colleagues on Kami, or providing the much needed technical support for all our programs. Navonita Sen, thank you for always being there for us. The next teacher has been singled out for this award as apart from the fact that she has trained herself in this medium and has been of immense help to her colleagues. What is remarkable is that she has created content for her entire department. Last year, at the onset of the pandemic, when teachers had to make the sudden, almost overnight shift, members of the commerce department woke up to the fact that there was no material readily available for online teaching in accountancy, business studies, and entrepreneurship. This young lady jumped right in and delivered with a smile. Manohar Guru, thank you for helping us out. We now come to the third category of awards, extraordinary effort during online teaching. This was instituted keeping in mind all those teachers who are passionate about what they teach and have been able to make the shift for the love of their subject. All the traits required in a stellar online teacher are evident in this lady. Students in a virtual classroom face a lot of issues, as this environment is quite different from a face-to-face interaction. Whether it is helping them navigate technical issues or staying focused, our awardee has done it all. Quick to respond and easily accessible, this science teacher exhibits excellent class control and knowledge about each and every student in her class. Moini Mukherjee, congratulations. We're so proud. At the onset, I mentioned passion for one subject. This lady embodies that. Armed with sound knowledge, our body is always ready to adopt new practices to augment her teaching of economics. Creating content and reaching out to her colleagues are things that she does naturally. Being disciplined and technically sound, she has made a huge success of her classes. Congratulations, Shivangi Paul. Well done. Our next awardee is a mathematics whiz who has shown tremendous initiative and adopted technology in her classes. Not only that, this senior member of our family has motivated others in her department. Shumita Sharkar, your effort has been worth emulating. Congratulations. A long service of 21 years in our school. The next awardee's classes exhibit the love that she feels for a subject that is to do with numbers and figures. What happened on the blackboard now has almost magically come alive on the virtual platform. She is extremely generous with her time and takes special care of all her board examinees. Shona Ray, thank you for being you. Before I end, I would like to thank the management for their unstinted support and cooperation. All teachers in our organization are winners in their own way. Apart from academics, students learn life lessons from teachers. Our role can never be defined merely by the few hours spent in our classrooms or by comparing it to any other profession. I end with these lines from Only a Teacher by Dr. Yvonne Fitzwater. Only a teacher. Thank God I have a calling to the greatest profession of all. I must be vigilant every day, lest I lose one fragile opportunity to improve tomorrow. Thank you. May I now call upon Dr. Singhi to announce the next set of prizes.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And today is the 133rd birth anniversary of Sri Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, our second President of India, a philosopher, a scholar of eminence, and a Bharat Ratna awardee. This day is celebrated across the country as Teachers' Day, and teaching, we believe, is a profession of great responsibility, and it has a great impact on the growth and development of the society and well-being at large. It is a profession that creates all other professions. The light of the world, the beckoning the day, and the hope that gives us strength to survive is our teacher. Today, we celebrate Teachers' Day at JDBI to acknowledge the invaluable contributions of our teachers towards nurturing the young minds who will, in turn out to be the torchbearers of tomorrow. We are privileged that JDBI Institute was selected as the venue for hosting this prestigious award ceremony, and we all welcome you once again to our campus. Even in this critical period of the pandemic and associated lockdowns, teachers of J.D. Birla Institute have been striving relentlessly to engage students in their regular studies, extra and co-curricular activities in various forms, though this has been done virtually this time. This has helped the college in maintaining its high rankings that have been announced by several renowned agencies on the basis of national level assessments. The management appreciates this contribution, and to honor their performance, awards have been announced in different categories. The assessment for the most deserving teacher on a number of criteria that has been measured under a scale of performance. It includes self-assessment through PABAS, which is under the UGC guidelines, principals and HODs appraisal, students' feedback, contribution to the development of the institute, including part-taking in college activities, taking initiatives for personal growth and development, regularity and punctuality in service, communication skills, and above all, ingenuity, courage of conviction, integrity, dependability, and team spirit. The process of selecting deserving candidates from so many for the awards has been indeed a difficult task. Although only some will be bestowed with this honor today, I cannot but mention the matchless contribution of all members of J.D. Birla Institute in raising the standards and making J.D. Birla visible on the atlas of the Indian higher education. I take this platform to thank each and every faculty member and staff of the Institute for their individual contribution towards the overall success of our institute. Now I take the pleasure of announcing the awards for the academic session 2021. The first category is the Best Academic Performance category, and it comprises of a cash prize of 20,000 rupees, a trophy, and a certificate. The amount will be transferred to the winner through the next payment. The award for the Best Academic Performance for the Departments of Food Science and Nutrition Management and Interior Design, and Human Development taken together goes to a faculty who delivers her best in all assignments that is entrusted to her. A bubbly personality, full of enthusiasm, she takes up all responsibilities willingly and optimistically. She has exhibited courage of conviction and is connected to her work that allows her to accomplish tasks on time. During the lockdown, she and her team organized a number of interesting seminars conducted by accomplished personalities. I thus call upon Mrs. Geetika Sachdev, Head and Assistant Professor, Department of Human Development. Best Academic Performance for the Departments of Textile Science, Clothing and Fashion Studies and Department of Interior Designing taken together goes to a very capable and sincere teacher with outstanding organizational skills. Extremely methodical, she completes her syllabus with ease, drawing satisfaction from her pupils. Any assignment given to her is accepted willingly and is completed with ease on time. This teacher is also the coordinator of the Internal Quality Assurance Cell IQAC of our institute and has helped in submitting the pending AQAR to NAC very recently. I thus call upon Dr. Shweta Tuteja Rakshit, Assistant Professor, Department of Textile Science, Clothing and Fashion Studies, to please come up and receive this award. The Best Academic Performance for the Commerce Department goes to a very senior faculty. She communicates her thoughts freely and diligently discharges all duties assigned to her. She is always available to her students and goes beyond the classroom hours to give them practical training and experience. Her special achievements for this year includes a very good student feedback. I gladly call upon Mrs. A.S. Manju Lakshmi, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, to please come up and receive this award. I think there are very few members left in the auditorium. I request you to be a little more visible. The Best Academic Performance for the Department of Management goes to a faculty who is extremely resourceful and well connected. She willingly took up seminar-related assignments midway from her colleague who lost her father due to COVID and delivered all assignments with ease. Her connect with students is praiseworthy as she follows both the stick and carrot system to train her students. Her contribution towards departmental research in the form of case studies has been praiseworthy even during the pandemic times. I gladly call upon Dr. Seema Lal, Assistant Professor, Department of Management, to please come up and receive this award for the session 2021. During the session 2021, the college had 12 numbers of publications, and there are 3 winners to receive the award for publishing minimum 2 research papers in recognized journals. The award comprises of a cash prize of ₹5,000, a trophy, and a certificate. The papers selected for the awards are the ones that have been published in journals which are recognized by UGC under its care list. I call upon Ms. Yamini Dhanania, Assistant Professor, Department of Textile Science, Clothing and Fashion Studies, to come up on stage to receive this award. Ms. Dhanania has published 4 papers, 1 in each of the following journals: Journal of Natural Fibers under the very well-known Taylor and Francis publication, Journal of Textile Association, Asian Journal of Textiles, and Magdalene Textiles in India. Currently, Ms. Dhanania is pursuing her PhD from Calcutta University. Though Dr. Anandita Devpal, Assistant Professor with Department of Food Science and Nutrition Management, is not present here today and is expecting her second child anytime soon, I wish to acknowledge her contribution in research. She's been regular in publishing papers and has been consistently receiving this award for the last 3 years. During the session 2021, she has published 2 papers, one in Journal of Scientific Research and another in Journal of Advanced Scientific Research. We wish you all the best to you and your baby to be, and pray for a safe and healthy delivery. I now once again call Dr. Seema Lal, Assistant Professor with Department of Management, to come up once again to receive the award for publishing research papers in recognized journals, and that too for the consecutive 2nd year. Ms. Lal has published 8 case studies, 6 with the Case Center, 1 in Ivy Publishing, and another one has been published in the Harvard Business Review Store. She has also completed her PhD from NIT Durgapur during this session. Congratulations on this. The last award category is significant contribution towards the development of the institute. This award comprises of a cash prize of ₹15,000, a trophy, and a certificate. This year, there are 2 winners who will be receiving this award. The award for the Science and Commerce departments goes to a very young and enthusiastic faculty member who has been a great support to the college. She's a person we all can rely upon and entrust important work. Over the years, she has gradually learned to take up responsibilities very enthusiastically, and she delivers them with ease. She has been coordinating the activities of our NSS unit for the Department of Sciences under Jadavpur University and has conducted several interesting and significant activities that has been largely appreciated by our affiliating university as well. And I'm sure many of you are aware when we've been posting this on the WhatsApp groups. I'm very pleased to announce the name of Ms. Shweta Rani Rai, Assistant Professor, Department of Food Science and Nutrition Management. She was dancing during our annual show. She's a wonderful dancer as well. The second award in this category goes to a faculty who has been instrumental in facilitating an environment of sports and games at the Department of Management. This faculty is known for his sense of discipline and has spearheaded various activities. His outreach activities and distribution of relief at a personal level during the Yash cyclone in the Sundarban area is commendable. I call upon Dr. Madan Mohan Datta, Assistant Professor, Department of Management, to please come up on stage to take this award. Now, on behalf of the management of J.B. Birla Institute and the Vidya Mandir Society, I once again congratulate all the awardees for receiving the prestigious awards and request others to work hard and give a top competition in the years to come. Best wishes to all the awardees and to all the teachers. Wishing you a very happy Teachers' Day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Singhi. May I now request Colonel T.R. Vera, Deputy Secretary General of the Vidya Mandir Society, to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Secretary General, Major General B.N. Chaturvedi, I extend the vote of thanks to all management staff of Vidya Mandir Society, Director, Birla High School, Director, Sushila Vidya Girls School, the pillars of success for both the schools, Principal JDBI, Principal Birla High School, Principal Birla High School Mukundapur, Principal Sushila Vidya Girls School, Headmistress Birla High School, Headmistress BHS Mukundapur, Headmistress Sushila Vidya Girls School. I also extend a vote of thanks to the deans, HODs, coordinators, the IT staff, the account staff, the maintenance department, and most importantly, the teachers and the faculty. As we all know, they had to unlearn the process of teaching, which they are used to pre-pandemic, and adapt to the new teaching methods that is online. And they all came out with flying colors. As an example, we can see the results of the board results. They have been exemplary. They have been able to impart quality education to all the students across our schools and colleges. Let us put our hands together to thank them for their excellent job. It is not only academics, it is also the co-curricular activities and the sports activities. Everything were online, and we have all seen it in the last few months. I have been with this organization, how the method they had adopted and the way it has been put across to all the students. I would like to also mention one more thing, there is a special days that all these schools celebrate. For example, the Earth Day, the National Sports Day, the Senior Citizens Day, etc. The principals and the headmistresses, they put in tremendous effort to make those videos, audio visuals ready before that day. And we all understand the kind of hard work that must have gone in behind making those videos. Thank you all for keeping us updated. I also, and another thing I would like to mention, that in a day or two, all those activities are on the newspaper. Either in the Telegraph or in the Times of India. I must thank our relentless effort of our PROs on this subject.
Absolutely.
Also take this opportunity to thank the Group B employees, the Group C employees, the security staff, the housekeeping staff, who all help us day in and day out to maintain the administrative, to give us the backup as far as the administration is concerned, and for the smooth functioning of the schools and college. We also, I would like to thank the team JDBI for organizing this fantastic afternoon. Pardon me if I had missed out on anybody. To extend my vote of thanks. I wish all of you a very happy Teachers' Day. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ambassador Bora, for being with us on this special day. Wishing all our dear teachers a very happy Teachers' Day once again. See you again next year. This is Hira Prasad, Headmistress, Birla High School, Mukundpur, signing off. Jai Hind.
Vande Mataram.
Yeah, this is the end of it. Yeah.